Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
You don't necessarily need to shut down again, but pull back a bit and then proceed in a very prudent way of observing the guidelines of going from step to step.
That's Dr. Anthony Fauci of the Fighting Faucis. So we don't have to shut down again, but doesn't matter because some states, well, kids, they're already doing it. Case in point, yesterday, the great Gavin Newsom.
Fitness centers, places of worship, offices for non-critical sectors, personal care services. That includes hair salons, barbershops, and indoor malls.
Okay, those are all shut down. Gavin, anything else?
Restaurants, wineries, tasting rooms, movie theaters, family entertainment centers, zoos and museums, card rooms, and the shuttering of all bars.
There you go. California shut down. That's big. They've gone backwards. California has gone backwards. Spoke to my mom last night. So for those of you who don't know, I have adopted brothers and sisters that are actually my nieces and my nephews. My sister is, she's got a lot of issues. So, and some of them are very young. In fact, are you guys ready for this? I have a 7-year-old brother. I'm 49. I have a 7-year-old brother. I have a 10-year-old brother. I have a 14-year-old brother, a 15-year-old brother. And my mom says to me, "Are you blanking kidding me? What the hell am I going to do with these kids? They're driving me crazy. School's completely unprepared. I can't do this again. It's a joke." Tough. Spoke to Jack's mom yesterday. My son, 10 years old. His mom's all, "Are you blanking kidding me? You can't be home all day. It's a nightmare. It's crazy." Yeah, that's where we are. We've gone backwards. I don't know what we do from here. Every state's got to take its own stock of what's going on, look around, and decide what's best for them. Texas, having severe issues. Florida is a nightmare, is an absolute nightmare. And you look at the numbers, and, look, I look at big numbers, ICU beds. Now, not just ICU beds, what's inside of those ICU beds? Meaning, do you have 100 ICU beds in this county here, or 200, and 140 of them are being used for people with heart disease, with diabetes, the elderly who are sick for other reasons, cancer patients, car accidents, and then there's 40 people there for COVID. I don't know. But I also look at the death rate. And while the numbers are climbing, the death rate in many cases is coming down. And that's a good thing. And part of that is because who's getting this is much, much younger and healthier.
We are all very concerned about the outbreak. And as I think you and your viewers know, about half the cases are in 4 states, Texas, California, Florida, and Arizona. But we are in a much different place now than we were several months ago, a much better place. We're very concerned. We're sending teams out to 19 different jurisdictions. We have CDC teams in every single state. In terms of our hospitalizations, we're at about 63,000 people now. That's much different from the 85,000 people.
That's good, right? Numbers rising. But we have to put everything in perspective. And that's what you have to look at the nuance. And it depends on how you're trying to look at it. Are you trying to fit a narrative? That's Admiral Brett Giroir, or Giroir, depending on how you want to call it. He's Trump administration doctor. And you look and you've got to say, okay, so we have 65,000 are hospitalized because of COVID. At one time we had 85,000. So this is better. Some places are feeling the pressure. New York felt the pressure for a while. New Jersey felt the pressure for a while. Now it's Texas, certain places in Texas, Florida feeling it, Arizona out here feeling it, and a few counties in California are feeling it. Okay. I get that. But let's look at the overall picture. And that's hard to do because people don't want that. So many people are trying to fit some sort of narrative they have in their mind, how they want it to go. And a lot of it's based on politics. I asked the question on numerous occasions. I'll continue to ask this. If this was Trump's second year, would this be a different situation? Would we be looking at this in a different way? Would he be looking at it in a different way? Because it's an election year. This is Trump's second year, third year, or final year of if he got a second term. Would this be different? It's so hard to tell. And it's hard because you look at numbers. Numbers don't tell you the whole truth because they're not giving you a breakdown of everything that you need to see when you ask some of these questions. So numbers are rising, but we've only got 65,000. That's down big time compared to where we were at 85,000. Death rate is falling. Yeah, there's more people who are testing positive. There's a lot of different things that are going on here. We're learning how to treat it better. There are some treatments out there for the critically ill. But it's tough, man. It's tough because everything is based in politics now. And that is a very, very tough thing because everybody's going to give you only what they want you to hear. And so you have to dig and you have to look and you have to dig more and you have to look and you get frustrated. I get here early in the morning. I go through a lot of crap. And I'm like, man, I'm fact-checking the fact-checkers, and I'm looking over here, and like, this thing is supposed to be right, and it's telling me a portion of the story, and you go over here to the CDC website, and they're like, well, hold on a second, this also includes people that have been tested twice, and you're like, oh my God. It's like, I don't know. You know, this test over here is 85% effective. This one's 97% effective. Well, it's tough. It is very, very tough. And then Ed Young, science writer and researcher from The Atlantic, said something that is spot on true.
If you'd asked me this question earlier on in the pandemic, I would have given you a science-based answer about how long the process of vaccine creation will take. Now I would give you a sociological answer. I would say that the question that most concerns me is not how long will it take a vaccine to arrive, but can a country that is doing so badly as we are right now at controlling COVID-19 roll out a vaccine in a way that is equitable, efficient, and I'm not sure I have faith in that process.
Yeah, the same people you're expecting. It's so funny. Everybody wants to turn to the federal government. Federal government. Yesterday, I had people going, oh, so Chad, you're just this libertarian who wants to do everything. I said, actually, I'm an independent. Libertarians are kooky. Most of them. I look at this and say to myself, I like the federal government to do the things, make sure the roads, right? The bridges, immigration, protect our country, fight our wars. You get that. The big stuff. This would be one of those big things. They can't get testing right. You expect them to get this right? In the vaccine world? How exactly does that work?
Let me give you 3 predictions for a vaccine. Firstly, a lot of people are going to resist getting it because they've been told for months, years now, not to trust experts. And the deployment of such a vaccine is just going to be a logistical nightmare. A country that 7 months into a pandemic still cannot ensure that its healthcare workers have enough gowns and gloves and protective equipment is not going to be able to distribute a vaccine in an efficient way.
Well, Chad, we get vaccinated now. You get vaccinated one at a time. We don't all go and 300 million people get vaccinated, do we? No, you go and, you have a baby and then you're going to get the shots and maybe you do it in 6 weeks, maybe you do it in 6 months. There are issues. And these are fair questions that Ed Young from The Atlantic is asking.
We need stronger leadership. We need more equitable leadership if we are going to deal with this. We can't just rely on a biomedical silver bullet.
There's just a lot that goes into this. This is an ugly situation that became even more politicized based on the fact that Trump's out there, it'll be gone by April, saying stuff that's absolutely crap, picking a fight with his own people. At the same time, they're picking fights with him. The media's on him. He's on them. None of this is a recipe for success. It's frustration, but not a recipe for success. And with all of that going on, then you look at the ugly side of what's coming outside of this, but based on this. So we're going to talk about that. And let me tell you, it is going to get ugly fast starting tomorrow around the country. And especially come August. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. text the program as well. Love hearing from all of you. HelloFresh is making things as easy as possible for you. You're frustrated. You got more to do, less time, running around. Do I go to the store? Don't I go to the store? Something that HelloFresh can do is take a lot of that stress, especially when it comes to meals, off your plate and back on your plate, if you will. You can choose from more than 22 chef-curated recipes each week. Includes low-calorie, vegetarian, family-friendly options. You can make any night feel awesome. Surf and turf, craft burger, taste tours, gourmet feast, you name it, they've got it. Don't have to worry about the meal planning. You're going to save yourself. How about this? You're going to save 40% versus shopping at your local grocery store. It takes about 20 minutes, sometimes less, to make. Everything is right there, packaged ready. Open it, throw it in, boom, away you go. Change your delivery days, add extra meals, skip a week whenever you want. It's flexible with HelloFresh. It'll fit into your lifestyle. Get started today. Number one meal kit in America. It's HelloFresh. Go to HelloFresh.com. Use the promo code Benson for $80 off, including free shipping for your first box. That's promo code Benson at HelloFresh.com for $80 off, including free shipping on your first box. HelloFresh.com, promo code Benson. It is the Chad Benson Show.
COVID-19 is not going away anytime soon until there is a vaccine and or an effective therapy.
That right there is Gavin Newsom. And it's not going away. And we've got to learn to live with it, live around it, live through it at this moment in time. Smart ways to do it, not so smart ways to do it. We can't shelter in place forever. I see all those people screaming, we need to stay indoors. You can't. Let me tell you what's coming. Let me give you an insight. Three biggest banks have $28 billion that they announced that they have stuffed away. Loans are souring. Stuff's coming due. Foreclosures are coming in August. The likes which may make 2008 look like you wish it was 2008 again. Credit cards defaulting. Repos are going to be through the roof. And oh, by the way, in most places starting tomorrow, your rent protection is done. So if you haven't paid your rent, you could be facing some issues. Big time. The financial tsunami was always going to be lagging. But now, if something's not done, it's going to get ugly fast. And it's going to catch up. So we can sit here and we can debate, should they go to school? Shouldn't they go to school? Could this? What about these numbers? What about this? Who do I believe? This guy says this. This lady over here says that. Both of you guys, opposites. Here's what I do know. Numbers are up, but death rates are going down. That's good. That's what we want. But we want to get this thing under control because we don't want the pressures at our hospitals to be overwhelming. And in some places, it might very well get overwhelming. But I think that will eventually calm down in the near future. But the reshutting of things in certain states and other states that are grappling with what to do as they shut things down piece by piece, inch by inch, without having to say we're going back to sheltering in place, is going to cause even more damage. More and more business owners are saying, I don't even know what to do at this point. I'm not going to take out another loan. I don't know what to do because I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Meaning you could tell me to open up tomorrow and 6 weeks from now, you can tell me you got to close down again. The start, stop. It's real. And that's where we are. At the end of the day, we're going to have to make this decision, as I've always said we were going to have to make. Especially as it was looking more and more likely that it was going to be endemic, not pandemic, meaning it's here. I mean, it's kind of some, even if we find a vaccine, there's a good chance that much like the flu, this is going to be something that's just with us. So we better figure out a way to live through it, around it, and with it. Because the thought process is we can't stop every single day, week, month. It's just not possible. And the same goes for schools. It's just not possible. It's not. The Dems want the school closed. The Republicans want the school. Really? Is that what it is? I think it's an individual choice whether or not you're going to send your kid to school. What's it look like? And this is just me, I'm of the belief that if you're going to send the child to school, then you send him to school. You go look at Europe, what they did, by and large, very few social distancing measures in any of the places. More hand sanitizer, maybe some smaller groups, but outside of that, they, especially with the younger, they didn't really do anything. They haven't had any significant breakouts. They haven't had any serious issues, and they're continuing to say, too, as they do more and more into investigating, researching, are they spreaders, children? And that doesn't seem to be the case. Doesn't mean it can't happen. But these are all things that people are going to have to deal with. So imagine this. One of you loses your job. The other one has to be at home. Your child's at home all day, start, stop. Then all of a sudden your husband or your wife gets a job, so they're gone. Then you get called back to work part-time. You don't know what to do. These are all things that add up. And that tsunami financially that is coming, and it is, and I'm seeing it, and I work here locally with a mortgage company, and they're saying, first of all, refinances are up because people are like, yeah, it's the best times in history to do something like this. But they're telling some people, hey, you've got the means and the money to buy a house. Wait 2, 3, 4 months because you're going to be able to pick stuff up for pennies on the dollar because the tsunami's coming, and it is. And we haven't felt that yet. We've been busy working and focusing on the health, which is good. But the financial side, get ready to feel that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at me, text the program. Love hearing from you. Love, hate, whatever it is. Just be kind, right? You could say, hey, I don't like your show. And that's all you need to say. You don't have to tell me F off and die. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
The only aim of the virus is to find people to infect. Mixed messages from leaders are undermining the most critical ingredient of any response, trust.
That's one of the doctors who heads up the who are you? Who? South America now is ahead of North America in deaths. So thanks to Brazil really kind of pushing. So South America ahead of North America. So ahead of America and Canada in deaths. They're not doing a great job over there. Brazil's got a lot of issues. They got issues, kids. Everybody's got issues, man. Everybody. The world's trying to figure out what they need to do. How do we stop this? Where do we go? The whole mask thing is driving everybody. Do I wear a mask? Do I not wear a mask? I mean, how's that work? Wear a mask. It's that simple. You go somewhere, somebody asks you, hey, you go to a store, you want to wear a mask? They're asking you to wear a mask. You wear a mask. Should that be like, why are we fighting over that? Because you're taking away, they're not asking you to wear it in your house. They're not asking you to wear it in your car. They're not asking you to wear it, in your backyard. Place inside is asking you to wear a mask. Shouldn't be that hard. It's freedom, man. I want to go to Costco, man. It's like, okay. Like I always say, if Costco told you to wear a top hat, that's how you get in here. So everybody has to have a top hat. Would you do it? By the way, Costco asks you to do what? Buy a membership. Do you do it? But what about my freedoms, man? Stop it. What is Disney? I saw Disney putting something in place in some of the parks where if you're not wearing your mask on the ride, you don't get a picture. It's like one of the things. You're like, what? Yeah, so when you go down like the big, like house and they take that picture where you're going, ah! If you're not wearing a mask, they won't allow you to have a picture of that exciting moment of you going down the water flume at Splash Mountain. But if you are wearing a mask, nobody knows it's even you. So you could just go, well, just give me that one. That person looks better than I do. That person's thinner or taller. I always wanted to have hair and I don't have hair. Nobody will know. She's wearing a mask. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You tweet at us. Well, that's not very nice, but it's kind of funny. Maybe you're right about that. To school or not to school is said question.
I don't see why they just can't reopen with safety guidelines, which are very important. I get that. They have to wear masks or face covers or, personal hygiene, distancing, and lots of testing, which is all available. There's no reason why this K through 12 can't reopen and even the colleges can't. Just go back to school. We can do that. You can social distance, you can get your temperature taken, you can be tested, you can have distancing. Come on, it's not that hard.
That's Larry Kudlow. It shouldn't be that hard, but it is. Because we make everything hard. We make it political. Everybody gets involved. Ends up going sideways. Do I think that we should open our schools? I do. And I think it's also going to be a parent's decision. And Jack's mom and I have talked about this. If Jack lived out here with me and schools were open, I'd send him. California, it's different because he spends so much time with his aunt and his grandmother, who both have underlying health conditions, including one of which is very dangerous, which is his aunt had a double lung transplant. So it's a much different story there. But I wouldn't worry about Jack getting sick. Well, he could get sick. He could get the flu, by the way. I don't know if you guys are aware of this. The flu kills a lot of kids every year. Look at the numbers when it comes to children under the age of 15. And you're going to be like, oh. We're trying to turn this into, well, we shouldn't have a battle. But it's not just about their education side of things. It's also their well-being. If you're at home with kids, you know this. They're struggling right now in a lot of ways. They don't have their structured day, which is driving you crazy. It feels a little different. They can't hang out with their friends unless they do it online, but that's all they do. They don't have sports. Their outlets are gone. Their social, Jack he's struggling. He really, really is. And he's very isolated when he's with his mom because he will go, like, there is nobody to hang out with. There is nobody. So it's like his backyard, the front yard, maybe they'll go for a walk at the park or something, but there's no playing with his friends. There's none of that stuff. Or at least, like I say, when he's out here with me, he's got the run of everything, goes around, and I'm not too worried about whether or not No, I'm not. But even here, it was tough the last 3 weeks. 2 weeks, 115 degrees. He's like, I don't want to go outside, Dad. It's like, I don't blame you. I don't want to go outside either. But it's the best place to be. Just go outside. It's the best place to be. It's 150 degrees. This thing dies with UV, and it dies with heat, and it's just. But if you listen to parents, and you listen, even Fauci said it's for their well-being. And I talked to several teachers here in Arizona yesterday, and I think we have to ask these teachers, are you willing to take a risk? Because some teachers, absolutely. Other teachers, no. I get that. But I think if we're going to send kids to school, we can't say, hey, you guys go to school, but this is what I want the teachers to do. 6 feet apart. Kids don't touch. Have them wash their hands every hour. Don't share pencils. Don't share crayons. Don't share anything at all. Have them eat inside. It's like you're going to spend more time trying to figure out how to keep them safe in a way that's different pre-coronavirus, which is like how to keep them safe from doing something completely stupid on the playground. So, yeah, this is going to be tough.
There are some people who want to keep our schools closed because they think it gives them a political advantage. And they're using our kids as political pawns. And to them, I say unashamedly, they can kiss my ass. That's wrong to do that to the kids of America. Not the people in good faith, but those who are just enjoying the chaos because they think it's going to help them in November.
Yeah, I think there are some people out there that enjoy it. Absolutely. 110% who enjoy this battle. Case in point, The View.
This idea that the Republican Party cares about education, they've been spending the last few decades defunding education. And they think that we're going to believe this baloney that they're throwing at us now, that they care about our children. Give me a break. Donald Trump only cares about getting reelected. That's all he cares about. Please.
Well, I don't think it's fair to say Republicans don't care about children. I mean, I think that's very aggressive and incendiary.
Education.
But I think when you're education, whatever.
I said
but
education. Excuse me.
Excuse me. Of course, they have to fight about everything. You could throw a stick of cheese out there and they'll fight over it. They will. That's what they love to do. But look, she's got some points. Donald Trump cares about getting reelected. Donald Trump cares about himself. Duh. That's not hard to see. The other side of stuff, education side, yeah, everybody has different ways of dealing with education. Like, I believe in school choice. Democrats don't want school choice. Why don't you want school choice? Because, why? And they'll go through, basically it's because the unions don't want school choice. They don't like that. I like that. We believe in education in different ways. This is where I side with the Republicans on this. Doesn't mean I don't want to defund stuff. Right? And I think we could put money in smart ways and give people choice, especially people inside the inner city, give them an opportunity to have choice in schooling. You don't want that. Why don't you want that? And that's what it should be. But when it comes to this, it's another one of those things where it's so funny because people say, well, we should listen to the experts. Well, I look at the experts of people who've already gone back to school, which is a good portion of the Europeans. And guess what? They don't seem to have any issues.
Republicans don't care about education. One of the ideas that I've heard is teachers who are immune compromised or above a certain age should maybe be doing their classes via Zoom or via satellite and then have a proctor who is healthy and does feel comfortable social distancing in stores. One of the things that someone like Governor DeSantis says, if we can have people at Walmart, if we can have people at theme parks, we should be able to figure out getting kids social distancing in schools. And there feels like there's a moving goalpost of priorities. But to sit here and say that Republicans don't care about education or children is just ridiculous.
And I think that's right. I talked to several teachers yesterday like, yeah, I want to go back to school. I want to get back in the classrooms. I want to get back into the classroom. And the kids need it. And so many of you found out over the last several months that schools were not set up unless they were actually online schools to teach. And how hard did your teacher work? Some teachers did a really good job. Jack's school, his teachers were super involved, and it was tough. It was long. There was times at 9 o'clock at night, he's going back and redoing things. Like my mom's like, I would get an email once a week from the teacher for Kenny. We call him Bubba. Once a week, I'd get an email. Really? Once a week? Wow.
Why do they keep defunding education? I was a teacher. I know what I'm talking about. Okay, Megan?
I think what's exhausting is coming on the show every day and being told that Republicans don't care about anything. We just want people to die. We want children not to be educated. Nothing matters. This is a crisis in this country right now. I have friends who have been calling me absolutely panicked about their kids not being able to go back to work and go back to school in September. And we all have to collectively come together and stop saying, oh, it's Republicans' fault. It's not. This is America's problem. And yes, there's a lot of blame to be placed at Trump's feet, but we can all collectively take blame right now.
Yeah, I think there's something to that. I do. And you're going to decide what you want to do with your child. You're going to decide. Would you or wouldn't you? How safe would you feel to send your child? And if you don't feel safe, you're not going to send it. And even if I give you the facts and data that backed it up and said, look, this is what it is. And I've heard from a lot of parents to say, I'm not going to send my child back to school until I know there's a vaccine. It doesn't matter if you give you any kind of facts and data and your child's healthy. Now, if they have a compromised immune system, or you have somebody at home that potentially has a compromised immune system and they could die, that's a totally different thing. But because we've gone into our holes and we're dug in, our fox, we're in our trenches, our foxholes, and we're dug in. It doesn't matter at this point in time. You've made up your mind. And that's the sad part. I'm always looking, going, okay, well, let's see here. Let's see what this looks like over here. Oh, that could change my mind. And sometimes it does. There's nothing wrong with that. You should be able to. So many people are afraid to change their mind because they think somehow if presented with new facts and they're like, oh, I didn't know that, and they change their mind, that somehow they were wrong and that they're minimized. Stop doing that. It's crazy. We need to get kids back in school. We need to do it smart. And if we're going to send them, we need to send them. Spending all day with 6 feet apart. And I'm like, how does that even work if you have 25 or 30 students? Are you going to open up several classrooms? Are you going to have, a football field with 6 feet apart? How does that even work? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program as well. Sleep better every single night thanks to technology and Purple. Why? Because Purple has a secret. It's called the Purple Grid. It's a patented comfort technology. Instantly adapts to your body's natural shape, sleep style. What does that mean? Purple is for every body, no matter how you sleep. 2,800 open air channels, naturally temperature neutral gel. So what happens is you get on this thing and it's this grid that's incredible. You're not going to sleep too hot. You're not going to sleep too cold. It is perfect. Firm where you need it, soft where you want it. It's truly a mattress that does it all, and it's because of technology. It's incredible. Ultra durable Purple Grid won't sink or lose shape. In fact, Purple is so confident. 100-night trial. It's risk-free. Free shipping, free returns. Experience the next evolution of sleep. Go to purple.com/Benson. Use promo code Benson for $150 off any Purple mattress order over $1,500. That's purple.com/Benson. Promo code Benson for that $150 off. Purple.com/Benson. Terms apply. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show, where we reach across the aisle and occasionally poke someone in the eye.
Washington's NFL team buckling under pressure, announcing the franchise's new name will inspire our sponsors, fans, and community for the next 100 years. The Navajo Nation still with harsh words for the team that's used the racist slur despite decades-long outrage, saying this change did not come about willingly by the team's owners, but by mounting pressure and advocacy of indigenous peoples.
Yeah, and a lot of that to do with Dan Snyder. Right, Dan Snyder he's one of those people where if it's his idea, he'll do it. And if it's not his idea, even though it might be the right thing and you push him too hard, he's going to stand there and fight with every fiber of his being. Retro Dan, 2001.
We're never going to change the name of the Washington Redskins. And I think from a bottom line perspective, what it means is tradition. What it means is competitiveness. What it means is honor. It is not meant derogatory. And I think that to take it that way is just to be able to get a podium and speak. From the standpoint of what it means to every fan, and that doesn't make a difference what the fan's religion, race, what have you. It means the same thing. It means tradition. It means greatness. It means fighting for the Redskins, fighting for Washington, D.C.
Yeah, well, since you've been the owner, it means pretty much just, that's kind of what it means, because you're just awful. I'm still trying to figure out what happened. Money, yes. The potential to lose some money absolutely was there. But also, Dan Snyder is one of these guys where you know that there is something else afoot, right? Like there's something else. He's got to be getting something. And I don't know if you guys saw this, but apparently a decade ago, producer Phil, you'll laugh, or a little bit more than that. Somebody went and purchased all the URLs to all the potential names, and that's been one of the biggest hurdles. So like the Red Tails, somebody already owns it. The Wolves, it's hilarious. what this guy owns. And that's been one of the things that they're fighting over is trademarking and getting this. They should do Lady A. The Washington Lady. Oh, that's taken by 2 people. Oh, yeah. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. Text the program as well. Who's a big fan of Dancing with the Stars?
Tom Bergeron was always quick with a joke or turn of phrase as co-host of Dancing with the Stars.
So we go from the woman who has new screws to the people who have a few loose for their scores.
And after 15 years and 28 seasons, he's out, along with co-host Aaron Andrews. The show says it's going in a new creative direction. No word who will replace them. Dancing with the Stars scheduled to return this fall. Bergeron has been with the show since the beginning and says in a tweet that it's been an incredible run and the most unexpected gift of his career, finishing with, quote, "Now what am I supposed to do with all these glitter masks?"
Yeah. I think they're going to try to young it up, hip it up, make it more so you think you can dance. That's what I think. It's time to get those celebrities out there popping and locking, doing some fun stuff rather than that ballroom stuff. I'm just saying. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. It's the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
I would beg the President of the United States to federalize a military response. I'm a CCAT ICU doc in the U.S. Reserves. We're just sitting here. There's 30 of our teams that are just sitting here, but the U.S. taxpayer pays, billions of dollars to sustain military assets that we use readily for Ebola? We're not using it now. National Guard. DeSantis has control over that. Let's start building portable ICUs and other portable hospitals in areas of need. He doesn't want to do it because doing so would be an admission of guilt.
The battle is on. That right there, Dr. Vin Gupta on the corona response, especially in places like Florida.
Enforcement of a masking policy statewide, not just in localities like Miami-Dade. Give your county officials an assist. Enforce something here that we know could work. Finally, I would make sure that indoor dining, indoor bars, done for the time being. My gosh, Louisiana, there's some common sense in the region, but not in Florida. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Well, how do you tell somebody, hey, guess what? We're going to close you down again. There's a good chance your business is never coming back. How do you tell somebody that? That's tough. Well, we're saving lives. You're costing lives. You're costing livelihood. There's no right answer. There's just a lot of tough, wrong answers at the end of the day for a lot of people. And I'm frustrated by the way that governors have handled this. I think governors across the country have dropped the ball in many cases. Where you're seeing the spikes, they've gone about it in such a way where the plan that they have is very little plan at all, and it's kind of hit and hope. And that's not just, California, they thought they did it right early on. They masked up, shelter in place, everybody went indoors, even when the numbers were extremely low. They went indoors. That's what they did. And at the end of the day, they're having issues as well as they've shut down. What would Fauci do?
You don't necessarily need to shut down again, but pull back a bit and then proceed in a very prudent way of observing the guidelines of going from step to step.
It's my question is, what's the prudent way? Because when you hear people, right? And I'm a big believer in looking at all of the science, not just science that you agree with, but everything. I'm also a big person into looking who's paying who. That's always a very important thing. Where are you getting your paycheck from? Because if somebody's funding you, then chances are they've got some skin in the game and want to make sure their message may be, how should we say this, backing up whoever's paying them. But I just want to look at all of it, right? I want to look at every single thing I possibly can. And the more that I do, the more that I realize that all of these leaders, from the top down, starting with Trump, all the way down, have screwed up on numerous occasions, ignored, didn't really care, didn't take it too seriously, overtook it seriously to the point where the panic party began, and that you made it feel like that if you got this, you were dead. And the news played a huge part in that. So what do we have? We have 350 million people. Less than 1%, according to this, has it. And as far as the death rate, it's small, but it could get bigger. And it probably will get bigger. How big? I don't know. What's coming? Collapse financially of a lot of people. Small businesses that will not be reopening. Small businesses that thought they made it through, and then with the reopening, were struggling to get by, and now with the shutting down in some places, are looking at this and saying, can't do it. And some saying can do it, but won't do it. There's no right answer or wrong answer. There's choices and plans that you can lay out. That's just it. It shouldn't be either or, but have a plan. And I don't see that, whether it's Newsom, whether it's Ducey in Arizona, whether it is DeSantis in Florida, or Abbott, or I just don't see any plans out there that seem to, other than let's just go inside. And going inside doesn't fix it, doesn't make it go away. So what's the plan? Now, it's not all doom and gloom. The reality is the numbers themselves, while getting uglier, there's also other numbers that you look at and go, okay, well, that tells a different story.
We are all very concerned about the outbreak, and as I think you and your viewers know, about half the cases are in 4 states, Texas, California, Florida, and Arizona. But we are in a much different place now than we were several months ago, a much better place. We're very concerned. We're sending teams out to 19 different jurisdictions. We have CDC teams in every single state. In terms of our hospitalizations, we're at about 63,000 people now. That's much different from the 85,000 people.
That's good. That's down. That's Brett Giraud, doctor, admiral, works with the health administration for Trump. That right there is good. Lower numbers of hospitalization. We're treating it better. We're treating it earlier in ways that we've seen have been effective. And with remdesivir and some steroids, there's some treatments out there for the critically ill that seem to help bring them back. And it's affecting people in a different way. Some people, mild to no symptoms whatsoever. Other people that you would think this would be a breeze for them, real issues, real struggles. It's, so this is very real. It's not a hoax. I've never once said it was a hoax. Do I think there are people out there that prey upon the panic and enjoy it as far as what they can do, how they can use it, and they've weaponized the politics of it all? Absolutely.
Only about 10% of people with COVID are on ventilators. That's down from about 25%. We have lots of ventilators, lots of ICU beds. The mortality rate for any given age is way lower, but we're still very concerned because as hospitalizations go up, we would expect deaths to also go up. Even though we're turning the corner on the current outbreak, and it looks, all indications are that we have that, we won't see the benefit in hospitalizations and deaths for at least another couple weeks.
And we'll figure out what that looks like. That is going to be interesting to see what it looks like, because a lot of places have been masking up over the last several days and weeks. What does that look like after we got through the 4th of July? Is there going to be a huge spike? There's a lot that goes into this. The frustration level, though, is the politicking of it all. We don't need the politicking. I need solutions. I know what the problem is. What are the solutions to this? Because it can't be every 30 to 60 days we see a spike, we don't handle it, we have no real plan, and then we run inside and we do what? We do it all over again? That is not winning. Yesterday, Gavin Newsom.
Fitness centers, places of worship, offices for non-critical sectors, personal care services, that includes hair salons, barbershops, and indoor malls.
Yeah, closing stuff down again. Anything else?
Restaurants, wineries, tasting rooms, movie theaters, family entertainment centers, zoos and museums, card rooms, and the shuttering of all bars.
And that might be very real, the shuttering, because I think a lot of them are going to. When I lived out in the Valley, I became good friends with a guy who has 3 restaurants out in the Palm Springs area. And I was chatting with him the other day. And one, he's like, I'm not opening it ever again. We're closing it down. We were doing good. Took us a while to build it up. We were kicking butt. And it was going well, but I'm not going to do it again. He goes, the other one, we're holding on, and the other one's doing okay because the nature of the business, pizza and stuff, it lends to be taken out. But we're also, we're losing money every single month. And a second shutdown, I talked to him a couple weeks ago, a second shutdown would be devastating. I don't know what he's going to do because, by the way, all 3 of his restaurants were amazing. And frustration level. You hear it. And it shouldn't be either or. Pick you're saying if we don't, if you want to open the businesses, you want to kill grandma. No, that's not what anybody's saying. What we're saying is, what's the plan? How do we protect grandma and the economy? How do we tell people that, look, you wear your mask, you do some social distancing, we can keep some stuff open. There shouldn't be any reason to close anything. You wear your mask, and this is the way it should go. At least for the time being. On the other side of things, how do we protect grandma? How do we protect grandpa? How do we protect your nephew or your cousin who've got actual serious situations where diabetes, lung disease, compromised immune system, where we protect them, build a circle around them to protect them? It's not going to be perfect. Nothing is. But with the financial crush that is coming in the coming weeks and months, let me tell you, people's nerves are going to fray quicker when they're starting to face eviction and foreclosure, when they're looking at their businesses shuttering, they're selling the things they own for pennies on the dollar. You guys hear me talk about the reptile world because I love my reptiles. Let me tell you, for me, I'm blessed. But things that 8 months ago you would pay X amount of dollars for, I can get today half that price because people are desperate. And it hasn't even really started yet. There's a lag in the financial side. So some of these guys and gals that are running these things need to get their heads out of their ass and start focusing on a real plan, not a piecemeal plan, not a hidden hope, but a real plan to protect the people that are vulnerable and to empower the people who need to get back to work and get back to living so they can pay for all of the things that we need through tax revenue and keep their lives going. Because beginning of this, we talked about, well, the cure may be worse than the disease, and everybody's like, well, that's not going to be true. It's starting to look like it's going to be a foot race to see which could be worse. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me, text the program as well. Rough Greens, $14.95. You love your dog like I love my dog, Doodle. You'll do everything you can to make sure their life is good. Doodle struggled. We had thought about putting him down. He had bad fatty tumors in his hips, and there just didn't seem to be anything that we could do to ease the pain. Rough Green says, Chad, try this. 2 weeks. It was amazing. Within about 7 days, saw a real difference. Within 10 days, it was like, wow. Now he's been on about 3 months or so. Totally different dog. 25 all-natural vitamins, minerals, digestive enzymes, powerful strains of probiotics, omega-3, 6, 9. You name it, it's got it inside of there. It's not dog food. So you no matter how good your dog food is, a lot of it is just meant to survive on the shelves. And it's missing a lot of things. You sprinkle this on there. That's all you do. They love the taste. Away it goes. $14.95 for a jump start. That's it. $14.95 for a 14-day jump start. See the difference it will make in your dog. Rough Greens can reduce or completely eliminate your dog's symptoms. Go to roughgreens.com/Chad or call 833-MyDog88. That's ruffgreens.com/Chad or call 833-MyDog88. Rough Greens, we make any pet food better. Chad Benson Show.
Get over it. It's time to forge a new path with your very own political cartographer, Chad.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? All right, let's take a look what's trending around the internet. Grant Imahara? Is that how you say his name, Phil?
Yeah, Imahara.
Yeah, Imahara. Mythbusters. Host. Influential, popular science kind of personality. Passed away at 49, I guess, of a brain aneurysm. It's awful. He joined in the third season after an invitation of host Jamie Hyneman. He was there for 200-plus episodes. That's a sad situation. So young. Ford Bronco coming back. The launch is here with its new Ford Bronco. Trending big time. I'm interested in that. I'm not going to lie to you. Been looking at it and going, okay, maybe, I don't know, maybe it kind of looks cool. Tom Bergeron trending because he is out of, and he hasn't done anything wrong, by the way. It's just it. That's the thing we have to report now. He's out of Dancing with the Stars as well as Aaron Andrews, but it has very little to do with him. They're going in a different direction. So you have to say that now. Because people are, did he get fired because he did something? Was there a tweet 9 years ago that somebody has taken and run with? Is that what it is? No. He's just out. That's it. Going in a different direction, deciding that maybe, just maybe, it's time to freshen it up a little bit. Been there 15 years, 28 seasons. That's it. Isn't that crazy? I was reading an article in the Daily Mail the other day about how Hollywood is just eating its own right now. Like just completely eating its own. They don't know what to do. They don't know where to go. And it's because they all feel that cancel culture is coming for them. At the same time, they feel like, well, I can't hire this person for that, even though this is the person I want for the job. And this person, well, she's going to be involved in this, but she can't actually have her name anywhere as the producer credits because these kids don't. I mean, it's nuts. But you did this to yourself. Think about it. You did this to yourself. You've made it so you became so woke that you started to cancel one another. Then you've got panicked because as you start canceling yourselves, some of you early on, just like take yourself out of the game. And now you're like, I'd like to get back in the game or I'd like to keep going. And people are like, there's no room for you in the end. Sorry. There's none. One executive said, being a middle-aged white man in Hollywood, your career is essentially over. I don't buy that. Because what I do know is middle-aged white men also buy tickets. So, it's silly, but the wokeness is having an effect. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
To those who have attacked me, blank you. You have not silenced Diana Ploss. I'm not going away.
That is she was a former New Hampshire talk show host, Diana Ploss. She's not, by the way, blank you, I'm not going away. You guys understand that? You and your cars and your yard and everything. She went out to some gardeners and said, you should be speaking English. And, of course, asked them if they were undocumented, stuff like that. Blank you guys. But what made me laugh about this is you're an idiot. Like, why would you live stream that? Why would you, in a day and age where, here, I'll give you two scenarios. Either she really is an idiot, it's always a possibility, or the shock effect and the opportunity to give her a platform that she's not had before by turning into a martyr for certain people on the right that will give her a bigger platform, then in that way, if that's what she's looking for, well, then she won. Then she won. Got a bigger platform now. People are going to be attaboying her. She could start a YouTube and grow that. But if she thought she was doing something like, hey, this is what I should be, you just, at this day and age, just, it amazes me, and it shouldn't amaze me, because I want to give people the benefit of the doubt. I want to give people the benefit of the doubt that hey, you know what? You're smart and you get it. The reality is I can't, because so many people are stupid. And by the way, stupid comes in all shapes, sizes, colors, creeds, religions, everything. It's just amazing. It really, really is. LA Unified School District, largest in the country, made a decision, and that decision's that we're not going to start school.
With just 5 weeks to go until the new school year, LAUSD has made the decision to start the year all remote.
While the new school year will begin in August, it will not start with students at school facilities. Since school facilities closed, health officials have learned the virus is more contagious than they first thought, and that asymptomatic and pre-symptomatic individuals can transmit the virus to others.
Now, is that great? Well, a lot of people are saying, hold on a second, I feel like the unions had a lot to do with it, which they did. How much, if we look at, because we really have no data here in America when it comes to schools, because the Europeans opened up schools and went back, and their data shows that there's been very little spread, very, very few tiny, minuscule outbreaks, and that children, according to the small data that we have on any of the novel coronavirus, shows that they really aren't super, uber, duper spreaders. And this is interesting. The last week or so, watching CNN and MSNBC talk about a teacher who died here in Arizona. So she died here in Arizona. Teacher. There were no kids in the classroom. She worked with 3 other teachers. They social distanced and wore masks the entire time. And then that's the reason that one of the reasons they're pushing is like, we shouldn't reopen then. It was like, she did everything right. So are we never going to reopen? No, Chad, we'll reopen. And I'm asking you guys that. You can go to Twitter. I want to hear from you. And I want to hear what you have to say. What's your take on kids returning to school? A lot of you are chiming in. Some people say I'm a little worried, but not enough to stop sending them. I think teachers will strike if you go back. Kids definitely should go back to school, says one. Craig B. Moore, says, I'm an educator. What's more concerning is not kids returning to school, not taking part in extracurriculars, not getting social interactions. The harmful effects are far-reaching if kids are not in the classroom of their education. That's true. I spoke to several teachers yesterday, several from California and Arizona, and they all kind of echoed the same thing. And one of the things they echoed was it's just not the same. The education side of certain things you can do online, but a lot of it you can't. It just doesn't come across the same way. There are certain individuals who work well and can get through things. But for a majority of kids, they need that structure. You can text us, 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. What do you think? Right now, if you were a teacher, would you want to go back to the classroom? what's the calculated risk for you? Are you looking around saying, well, I take care of my mother, I can't be in that situation, I'd like to be in the situation where I teach at a distance? Or are you somebody who is saying, you know what, I feel healthy enough, I think I'd be fine? Want to hear from you. Tweet at us, text the program as well. Will he leave? Will Trump leave the office? Could it happen? Will he stay? Hillary Clinton's chiming in. And it's funny because they've asked Trump on numerous occasions, what happens if you lose? He goes, well, I don't leave. Like, this whole thought process is the minute he loses that he's just going to tell the generals to, hey, let's just build a wall around here and we'll take over and we'll throw the Constitution. That's a bunch of crap. Right? That to me. Now, what I do think is going to happen is you'll have the mail-in voter fight. You'll have the voter suppression fight. And you're going to have, with the COVID, we don't even know what it looks like. So we could be a week or two into this before we know who's president because of that. And let's not forget the fact that everybody's going to lawyer up the minute it's over.
I think it is a fair point to raise as to whether or not, if he loses, he's going to go quietly or not. And we have to be ready for that. But there have been so many academic studies and other analyses which point out that it's an inaccurate, fraudulent claim. There isn't that problem. All the games that are played and all of the photo IDs and any kind of restriction that can be imposed to try to keep the vote down in places that aren't going to vote for Republicans, that's the real danger to the integrity of our election.
That's the real danger. The integrity. There's a lot. Look, very little voter fraud. Is there some out there? There absolutely is some. Is there some with vote harvesting? Has there been some with mail-in ballots? Yeah, but when you look and you go through, and there's a comprehensive study that came out a few years ago, and it was the most comprehensive study of all time, and it showed such a small, tiny, minute amount of voter fraud. And by the way, both sides were guilty of it. And most of the voter fraud that takes place that is really a situation where there has been some voter fraud, a lot of it takes place in smaller communities with smaller races. But I don't think Trump's going to stand there and say, I'm not leaving.
That combined with misinformation and disinformation and all of the online shenanigans that we saw in 2016. So I want a fair election. If people get to vote and they, for whatever reason, vote for Donald Trump, okay, we'll accept it. Not happily. But I don't think that's what will happen, because I think the more people who can actually get to the polls, whether by mail or in person, we are going to have the kind of election we should have. And then it'll be a win both in the popular vote and in the Electoral College.
Who knows? I don't know what's going to happen. So much is going to happen between now and November 3rd. I mean, a ton is going to happen. You're going to have the ebbs and flows of this coronavirus. You're going to have the ebbs and flows of the economy. You're going to have potentially in the coming next 4 to 6 weeks a massive tsunami of financial issues that is going to change a lot of things. I couldn't tell you what's going to happen in 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 6 minutes in this election. It's a lot of craziness. That I do know. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. All right, I want to get to it in a minute. Johnny Depp. It needs to be talked about. And we're going to touch on it in a moment. Got some phone calls with him and Amber Heard. Oh, my goodness. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Car Shield, making things better, making things easier for you with protective plans. They got plans to protect your car for covered repairs. Starting as low as $99 a month. Call 800-CAR-6000. Mention code Benson. When you do, you save 10%. Maybe you've got a car that's a little newer. You're worried about a few other things that has to do with the electronics. Maybe your car's a little bit older and you're worried more about the transmission. You're worried more about the engine. That's the thing you want to protect. CarShield has your back. 24/7 roadside assistance. A rental car for free while your car's in the shop. And that shop, of course, is the shop that you choose. They get them paid directly. You pay small deductible. It's that simple. What are you waiting for? Get yourself protected in this day and age of who knows what can happen, because you need your car more than ever. Go to carshield.com. Use code Benson to save 10%. Or call 800-CAR-6000. 800-CAR-6000. Use code Benson to save 10%. A deductible may apply. Chad Benson Show.
need to fear. We promise we won't give you a noogie and make you cry Russia, Russia, Russia.
Who is the fearless leader?
Fui.
Fui, fui, and double fui.
Boy, it's your language. This is a family show, remember?
Fui to families too.
Nostrovia. This is Chad Benson.
So I want to hear from you. At Chad Benson Show, Twitter. You can text the program 323-538-2423, asking the question about the kids returning to school. A lot of you are like, send the kids to school. Some of you are like, depends on the situation. And that's the situation. Are you afraid to send your kid back to school? As a teacher, are you afraid to go back to the classroom? One person says, hey, I think it needs to be framed differently. Should kids return to school physically, remotely, or hybrid? School's necessary. It's just how it's done. I get that. And how is it going to be done? That I don't know. Another person who is always chiming in, who can't stand Trump and thinks that everything's bad. What about teachers and other school workers' safety and community spread from kids bringing the virus home? The kids aren't the only ones to consider here. No, that's the question, though. You ask the teachers, are you willing to do this? It's a calculated risk. Even if we can show that the kids aren't true spreaders, the way that some people think, or maybe they are. But based on the information we have now, and we can't wait 10 years to get the information and go, okay, now it's safe. So, but based on this information, it shows that kids have very little to do with the spread. One person says, I'm apprehensive. Nothing is 100%. Kids will not get sick. But will they spread it? Teachers, admin are at risk as well. We need to support them any way we can. I worry about the kids' social and mental well-being, not being able to go back. So it's not just the education side. I want to hear from you. Tweet at us, at Chad Benson Show. Text the program as well, 323-538-2423. So the court case that is currently going on with Johnny Depp and Amber Heard have nothing to do with their divorce. It has all to do with the tabloids in the UK. If you've ever noticed, very few people ever sue successfully here in America. Tabloids, like you go and look at the Inquirer, were never really sued successfully. Very few times. Our laws, really, really, really tough. The other side of things, Britain's a much different place. UK is much different. That's why this is going on there. And I was telling the guys before break, or during break, that when I was over there working at Talk Radio UK, I made a joke in passing about Richard and Judy. Richard and Judy were a talk show, married couple, and I think they were on Channel 4. Right? I was one of those things, like, one of those. It's been forever. It was the Richard and Judy show. And in 1994, they were accused of going into a Tesco, which is one of their supermarkets, and leaving without taking anything. And they said, it was very much a Winona Ryder thing. And I said something in passing, and we got slapped with legal stuff. And it was a joke. I didn't even say, it was. I said, well, that sounds very Winona Ryder. Richard Judy sounds very Winona Ryder-y or something. And they came hard because you can over there compared to here. But this whole thing, we've learned about Johnny Depp and the chaos and the craziness. But I don't think you really put anything to it because, he's kind of, chaotic and crazy. He owes apparently $100 million in back taxes and a lot of other stuff. Blew through $650 million, but we're finding out more and more. So yesterday we got to hear a bit of the relationship between said Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
Amber, I lost a finger, man. Come on. A jar of mineral spirits thrown at my nose.
You can please tell people that it was a fair fight and see what the jury and judge think. Tell the world, Johnny. Tell them, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp. Man, I'm a victim too of domestic violence, and yes. It's a fair fight. And see how many people believe or side with you.
Yeah, he lost a finger. Right? I mean, Johnny Depp told bodyguard that Amber Heard cut off his finger. She's got a lot of issues. And we were saying there's two types of crazy. Okay? There's two types of crazy. Johnny Depp gets into it. A little bit crazy in the way that he approaches his stuff. Spends money crazy. Just that kind of, he's out there. Amber Heard is my kidney's missing and you burn my house down and don't look in the microwave crazy. And you hear that. And I think listening to these phone calls, he's like, he really loved her. He did.
Fair fight, my ass.
Exactly, because you're bigger and you're stronger. And so when I say that I thought you could kill me, that doesn't mean you counter with you also that you lost your own finger. I am not trying to attack you here. I'm just trying to point out the fact of why I said call 911. Because you had your hands on me after you threw a phone in my face, and it got crazy in the past, and I truly thought, stop this madness before I get hurt.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. You're bigger, stronger. But I think she went after him hardcore. She wanted to embarrass him. And you can hear how much he's into her.
All right, fine. You believe what you believe. As far as I can tell right now, it sounds like you want to go to court. And you want to yourself real bad.
I just want to clear my name.
You cannot clear up your name now.
I only have my integrity.
And what about mine?
Take me a step further.
What about mine? Do you believe all this, Amber? Do you believe all this?
Oh, you have the yes.
You believe I'm an abuser. You believe I'm an abuser. Do you believe you're an abuser? Do you believe you abused me physically?
But I was 115 pounds. I'm a 115-pound woman.
Okay. He's asking the question. No, it's all you. You're the bad one, Johnny.
You cannot think that it's just my side. You're killing me. My boy has to go to school. My boy goes to school and has kids go, so your dad's a wife beater? You don't think about that, Amber.
No, really, my arrest record, what's next in the media? The rumors that I'm just stripping. Of course I can expect that.
I'd give them? I'll see you in court. No, I'll see you in court. I never said that. I never told anyone that. You've trusted me with that, and I've never told anyone that. I'll see you in court.
Yeah, she's had a lot of issues even before Johnny. There's a lot of, it's like 17 minutes long, and there's times when he could just he hear his voice, but man, he throws everything. He's codependent, and she's crazy, so it was a perfect match. You knew it was going to go up in flames, like Andre Rison's house. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. He lost a finger. That's love. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
I don't see why they just can't reopen with safety guidelines, which are very important. I get that. They have to wear masks or face covers or, personal hygiene, distancing, and lots of testing, which is all available. There's no reason why this K through 12 can't reopen, and even the colleges can't. Just go back to school. We can do that. You can social distance, you can get your temperature taken, you can be tested, you can have distancing. Come on, it's not that hard.
Not that hard. Larry Kudlow knows. It's not that hard. Of course, we make everything hard because there's politics involved. I don't know what to do with kids. That's what everybody says. What do we do? California shut down yesterday, back to where they were. It's very interesting because everybody's like, if we wear a mask, we wear a mask, wear a mask. We should have shut things down. California was early in on the mask. They were maybe the most staunch in a lot of areas. And yet they saw a spike. Masks aren't 100%. I think we all know that. But we were inconsistent in the way that we've done it. But California shut down. Their school system decided they're shutting down. Trump, he wants schools open. I think we know that.
Schools should be opened. If kids want to go to school, you're losing a lot of lives by keeping things closed.
We could save all the lives. Well, we could. I mean, we just tell everybody stay home. And there's people out there that advocate for that. Let's not do anything till there's a vaccine. Started out, let's flatten the curve. Remember that? We're going to flatten the curve. And then it was, well, let's see how low we can take it. And then it was, well, wait until there's the therapeutic. And then for some people it was, well, maybe when there is a vaccine. And there's no, just absolutely zero guarantee that there's going to be a vaccine. Not that there isn't one getting closer. Let's be real. We've got a lot of people working on it. And I do believe we will have a vaccine or two.
We're pretty cautiously optimistic that at the end of the year, beginning of this coming 2021, we will have one and maybe more, I hope more than one vaccine that would be available.
Doesn't mean it's going to be available right away, and doesn't mean that it's going to be out there and in a way, shape, or form that's going to be easy for everybody to get their hands on. And we'll talk about that in a second. But when you look at this, to shut down, to not to shut down, kids to go to school, not to go to school, you realize, because you're smart people out there, we haven't felt the other part of this, the financial part. Government was there to bail it out for a little bit, offer relief to a majority of people, but that's coming to an end. Some people never got the relief they thought they were going to get. Foreclosures are going to start to skyrocket in most states starting tomorrow. Evictions are going to take off. We're in a really ugly situation on the financial side that we've not felt yet because the government bailed so many people out. And it's ugly. Not all is ugly. But at this moment in time, with where we're going in some of these states and moving it backwards, this is I think people realize this didn't go anywhere. Business owners are making hard decisions in the coming week or so as their states close certain things down, and in some cases like California go back to where they were before they started phase one, which is, do I even want to be open for business? Or do I want to just shut it down and then in 6 months or a year think about reopening? That's tough. That is. And the school side of thing is another tough one. Do you send your kids to school? Do you not send your kids to school? What about the teachers and the administrators? How do we deal with that? If we send them to school, how do we send them to school? Do we bubble wrap them? Do we put plexiglass up? I mean, that's some of the stuff I've seen. I mean, there's so many questions. For me, I say if you're going to send the kids to schools, send them to schools. Let them be the kids that they are. You can ask, the junior hires and the high school kids, hey, you know what? Do your best to social distance a little bit. And you can wear a mask in certain situations. But outside of that, but especially for the elementary school kids, just allow them to be kids. Because it's not just the education side, which they're falling way behind on, but also the social aspect is really getting in there. And the physical aspect. Jack came out here. I hadn't seen him in like 2 months. He put on like 10 pounds. He's got nothing to do. He's not playing sports. He's not practicing sports. He's basically was allowed to go outside. He can ride his bike, kinda. I mean, it was, and he came out here and he swam every day and stuff, but he needed it. There's a lot that goes into this. Now, with all the bad numbers that are out there, and there's plenty of them, there's also some good numbers.
We are all very concerned about the outbreak, and as I think you and your viewers know, about half the cases are in 4 states, Texas, California, Florida, and Arizona. But we are in a much different place now than we were several months ago, a much better place. We're very concerned. We're sending teams out to 19 different jurisdictions. We have CDC teams in every single state. In terms of our hospitalizations, we're at about 63,000 people now. That's much different from the 85,000 people.
That's big. Because I look at stuff like that, to me, matters as much as anything. The death rate and the hospitalization. So we're down big time when it comes to that.
Only about 10% of people with COVID are on ventilators. That's down from about 25%. We have lots of ventilators, lots of ICU beds. The mortality rate for any given age is way lower, but we're still very concerned because as hospitalizations go up, we would expect deaths to also go up. Even though we're turning the corner on the current outbreak, and it looks, all indications are that we have that, we won't see the benefit in hospitalizations and deaths for at least another couple weeks.
Yeah, that's going to take a while. So there's a lot here to dig through, to look at, but there's some good news and some bad news. Life isn't going back to normal anytime soon. Opportunities for us to have better care is available because they've learned how to care in much different ways. Some states are feeling the pressure in their healthcare facilities, and other states are doing okay, states that were bad. I mean, there's just a lot of different things that are playing out here on the health side. And then on the other side, the reality is the business side is, in places like California, losing their mind. And what we think is nasty unemployment, we thought we'd have a bounce back. The potential for bankruptcies, unemployment, foreclosures, evictions, you get where I'm going, is real.
On the same day gyms and nail salons reopened in Santa Clara County, they were told they will be forced to close again. Linda Doe owns a nail salon.
We're back to square one. We're left out here. 1 minute you can open, 1 minute you can't.
Neil Maddox owns a gym in Santa Clara County.
What, is this going to be another 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 months?
Nobody knows how long this closure order will last.
Yeah, nobody does. And that's hard to build a business or do anything when you're in the always holding pattern, waiting to see what the governor's going to do. And all these governors, DeSantis, Ducey, Cuomo, Newsom, Abbott, you name it, you look across the board, all of them, to me, have flailed. They shut everything down. They had no real plan other than let's just shelter in place and see what happens. It's about flattening the curve. Now, what you're going to see on top of all of the other stuff we've talked about is cities and municipalities across this country realize in very short order that tax revenue that they lost isn't coming back anytime soon. And it's hard to look to the people and ask them for tax revenue when they're all going broke and filing for bankruptcy. Real cuts are going to come in places that I think people are going to go, uh-oh. And I still don't see a plan because we're not through this. And that's an embarrassment. It truly is an embarrassment. You don't have to shut everything down. You don't. There's ways that we can do this smart. But I hear nobody doing it.
You don't necessarily need to shut down again, but pull back a bit and then proceed in a very prudent way of observing the guidelines of going from step to step.
You could do that. Or you could have the people, because you've wasted so much money already, have the people that are vulnerable, have the people that would face the biggest battle if they were to catch this, have them shelter in place, have people work with them and around them that you can quarantine and help them shelter in place and pay them accordingly. And everybody under the age of 65 or 70 realize that the survival rate of this is pretty much that of the flu if you have no underlying health conditions, and that you need to get out there and you need to work and to live your life and to keep the economy going so we can dig out from this. Because the longer this goes, the bigger the mess this is, the worse it's going to be. And we looked at, remember 2008? Oh my God, that was, you'll be praying for 2008. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Raycons, best earbuds around. Love my Raycons. Had to order Jack a new pair. They're just amazing. 6 hours of talk time with the E25. Seamless Bluetooth pairing. More bass, better design. The noise isolating fit. You're making calls because we're working at home. We're doing things differently. You're making calls. You're at home. The kids are in the background. What do you want? You need to listen and hear what the other people are saying, and you need to be able to talk without having to, You can do that with this. Maybe you were doing one of those video conference calls. You don't want the dangling wires or the stems or any of that stuff. Nope. Comfortable, easy, amazing. E25s, they're going to give you everything you need at a price that is right. Normally, you'd spend $250 on something like this. Well under $100 with Raycons. Well under $100. Check it out for yourself. Go to buyraycon.com/Chad. When you do that, you'll save 15%. Buyraycon.com/Chad. Buyraycon.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
Take a fake news break. Check out the really important news of the day at our website, ChadBensonShow.com. Once there, click on Chad's free podcast and get real. The Chad Benson Show, where truth and the American way live. Print free.
At 7:46, the curtain was raised at the federal prison in Terre Haute. Daniel Lewis Lee wore a brown shirt and had a blue blanket over him as he was strapped down to a gurney. He looked into the window where the media was gathered and exclaimed in his last words, "I didn't do it. I've made a lot of mistakes, but I'm not a murderer." He blamed a judge in Arkansas for ignoring DNA evidence in the case and said, "I bear no responsibility, and you're killing an innocent man." Lee breathed heavily as the lethal injection was administered, lifting his head once to look around. Within a few moments, his body stopped moving. His lips turned blue. The curtain closed at 8:07.
Yeah, first federal execution in 17 years. So that happened. It's very interesting what his attorney said. His attorney said this. His attorney said, I was like, really? Ruth Friedman, Lee's attorney, said in a statement, "It's shameful that the government saw fit to carry out this execution during a pandemic." He was a one-time white supremacist who killed a family of 3. So, and didn't just kill them, by the way. Did not just kill him. Tortured. Murdered. It was awful what he did. I don't want to go into it. Sonia Mayor, Ellen Kagan, and Ginsburg wrote separately to criticize the court's decision to accelerate this decision-making. Justice Stephen Breyer, joined by Ruth Bader Ginsburg, reiterated in one dissent that something he had said thinks it's time for the court to revisit constitutionality of the death penalty. But at the end of the day, it took place. Look, I'm not a fan of the death penalty just because I don't think it works. I don't think it works. And it's expensive. And it really doesn't do anything to dissuade people. And it costs us a ton of money. It does. And that's the reality of it. You know, I think a lot of people would like to think that it's one of those, it does a bunch of, no, it doesn't. It doesn't dissuade anybody. These people are evil and vile and that do a lot of these things. You're not stopping them. And we'd all like to see people that are vile and evil pay that price. But what is it when you go and look how long people are sit on death row, and most of them die of natural causes? By the way, this guy, he died from COVID-19. That's what they gave him. Chad. Yeah, he was something else. You go and look at it, and he was definitely something else. This horrible individual, Daniel Lewis Lee. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. You can text the program. This is something interesting with police. And you go and you look at the police, and what's killing them the most right now isn't, and there have been several police officers killed this year, but it's actually COVID.
Officers Memorial Fund has found that for the first half of the year, 65 officers died while doing their jobs. A separate group, the Officer Down Memorial page, lists 120 on-duty fatalities. The big difference being that the ODMP has included law enforcer deaths tentatively attributed to COVID-19. Both sources agree that by the end of 2020, more police officers will have died of COVID-19 than of gunfire.
Yeah. COVID's real. Nobody ever said it wasn't real. That's why I hate when people say it's a hoax. It's not a hoax. Could you argue that the media at times has overblown it? Yeah, you could argue that. Could you argue that the people in a lot of powerful positions have underplayed it? Absolutely. I think the most common sense individuals like us who listen and we chat here, we kind of get what it is. But it affects everybody, including our first responders. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. What say you on sending your kid back to school? You scared? You apprehensive? Is it a no for you? Or do you want to get them back? If you're a teacher, do you want to be back? You can tweet at us. You can text the program as well. It's the Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
On the same day, LA Unified Schools announced they will not be reopening classrooms at the start of the school year. Next door, the Orange County Board of Education voting to recommend reopening schools with no masks and no social distancing required. Dr. Ken Williams is on the board.
The lowest risk are children in K through 12.
The board's vote is not binding. It goes against the Orange County Department of Education and state recommendations. Schools can decide on their own.
Yeah, that's going to be very interesting to see the way that plays itself out, because Orange County is kind of all of the places where, because California is uber liberal, but there's a few little areas, enclaves, that are very conservative or somewhat conservative. Now, that's been cut into a bit more and more over the years in Orange County, but it's still somewhat conservative compared to the rest of the state. So LAUSD, the largest, they're shutting down in person. Orange County is going to be on their own. And the second thing is you got San Diego, but, San Francisco and several other, Contra Costa County and a few others. It's going to be interesting to see, because as parents, we're trying to figure it out. Now, I've got a son that goes to school in California. He's already been told he's not going to be going to school, at least to start the year. There. I've got little brothers who go to school in Southern California, and they're not going to be starting. And trust me, my mother last night was not happy. How old are your brothers? Just a quick overview of my wacky life. I have a sister. She had a lot of problems, a lot of drug issues. I got little brothers. My youngest little brother, who's my nephew, has been adopted. He's 7. His name's Kenny. Call him Bubba. And he was awful at online schooling. He was. Great at school. Awful at home. Producer Phil brought up something good. He said a little while ago. He's like, wait, so you want me to pay online prices? You want me to have online schooling, but you want me to pay in-schooling prices? I think a lot of people feel that way. I do. I feel that way. How's this working out? My son's mom's not thrilled by this. I want to hear from you. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Somebody writes, Steinbeck Row. If school's open too soon, a domino effect will happen. One case of COVID in a room of 20 will result in 14 quarantines. 14-day quarantine for the whole room. These kids run into each other in the playground, hall, bus, bathroom. You'll become COVID wildfire. Will it? Because if you look at Britain, they're opening up. But you go look at Norway, you go look at Denmark, you look at Sweden, you look at Germany, they've had none of that at all. None of that. They've had no outbreaks, no craziness, no chaos. Another person says, I think we should allow kids to go back to school and allow their competitions to come back. Sports. Oh, absolutely. Jack needs it more than anything. What about daycare centers? That's a big thing, too. Because if you're a parent So this is the crazy thing. If you're a parent and you have nobody to watch your kid, you got to find a daycare center. Are they still open? In some cases, they are. People are desperate because you don't want mom or dad maybe potentially watching them. Or some daycare centers have decided, well, we're going to close down. It's frustrating. Another person writes, teacher, society continues to put kids at risk. We make many local and national decisions with little regards for our youth. As an educator, I want my students to have the best educational experience possible, and that is why educators in face-to-face scenarios are better. Get back to school. Want to hear from you, 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program as well. Never going to make everybody happy. I think we all realize that. No matter what we do, there's going to be a battle in some way, shape, or form when it comes to this. Some people want to stay home. They don't want any part of going there. Some people are going to say, I want to be with my students. Some parents are going to be fine sending their kids to school. And some parents whose kids would be fine and they have nothing at risk as far as grandma or grandpa. They're healthy, even based on the numbers, would feel uncomfortable. And other people whose kids mildly could be in a position where you could think, well, if something happened, they may say, I need to send my kids to school. Everybody's got to take that into account for their own selves. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. Text the program as well. Kids, the mask. Every day there's a new mask situation. Every day. And it's fun.
You take a picture of me. Does that make you feel better? Why don't you get a life, lady?
Dude, I have a life.
No, and they're going around taking pictures of people?
Yes, because of what you're doing.
So
can you not follow the lines on the floor?
Keep your mouth running.
The governor, the mayor is asking us all to wear a mask. And look at you, not wearing a mask.
Oh, dear.
I wear a mask to protect myself.
It's so f***ing political. It's unbelievable. Now, you have accosted me in this store.
You've accosted me when you came upon me within 6 feet not wearing a mask.
That's where we're at. Both of them, by the way, are hilarious. Should have wore a mask. Went down the wrong way. I have been in the Walmart and a few other stores and sometimes you're just doing your thing because you've been in there 1,000 times. It's not done though. So there's one person filming. Wait.
Oh, God, another one. You people are like monkeys falling out of a tree.
No, you're the monkey that hasn't ever heard of Darwinism, evolution, evolve, mister.
Why don't you burn something down?
Why don't you go back to where you were?
Why don't you
need to evolve
tear a monument down or something?
Are you burning crosses? Are you burning crosses?
What?
Idiots, man.
No, you're the idiot.
Yeah. You're the one playing your life on a freaking computer.
Dude, I know. Doing good luck with the virus. Your whole family tree is getting cut off at its roots.
Wait, like, I got to be honest, he's a clown, but she's awful. And by the way, Darwinism is the survival of the fittest. So at no time did Darwin say, hey, you know, be great, while the unfit should be totally protected. Is that right? Does that feel right, producer Phil? I feel like that was right. Like the whole thing is at no time did Darwin say, and everybody gets a mask.
Exactly.
Oh, my Lord. Oh, my God, another one. Sounds like Dr. Phil. I can't believe it. They're like falling out of trees. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. But I like how it totally devolved from you're stupid, you didn't stay 6 feet away from me, you're not wearing a mask, you go down the wrong side of it, do you burn crosses? That's the jump you made. I'm like, huh? No. You burn crosses, you must, because you're not wearing a mask. Isn't that nuts? So I have no hair. Like, I'm bald. I used to have hair, but it was thinning really bad, and I hated it, and I felt like Friar Tuck. So for a while, I shaved my head bald. And somebody a couple weeks ago said, are you a Nazi? Skinhead. Like, no, I'm bald. I said, are you a blank? If you're going to just, that's where we are. Like, we look at something and we make this prejudgment of something. Guy didn't wear a mask. You know what? You should wear a mask. And lady, I'm going to say this. It's not about protecting you. Him wearing a mask may protect you. You wearing a mask isn't going to stop anything that's out there. Particles are too small unless you have an N95, and I doubt you do. unless you're wearing it properly, and I doubt you were. Could it potentially cut some stuff down? Yes. It's about respect. And none of them in that moment in time respected each other at all. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at me, text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. That's where we are in this world. We're there. We are there. We're battling. We're fighting. We're arguing over the silliest stuff. It's crazy. It really is. Turning to our leaders as if to say, you know what our leaders are? Do you guys even understand it? They're our voice that we've hired. They work for us. We think we put the best people in place to go make responsible decisions, whether it's at the local level or the state level or the federal level. And they work for us. Doesn't mean they're always right. And in many cases, they flub their lines. Too many people are looking, and I got pushed back yesterday. You think the federal government, or you, Chad, would you fought World War II by yourself? I'm like, where did you get that? I thought that was funny. I'm like, no, our government should protect our borders. They should protect our country. They should make sure the trains run on time, the roads. You get where I'm going with that. But to always look to them to, well, what do you say here? Well, what should I do here? How should I handle this? I see too much of that. I think a lot of you out there realize that. And the funny thing is, we scream and yell about testing and all of this stuff. And then at the same time, as Ed Yong puts it from The Atlantic, it's a science writer and researcher, he says, the testing's a mess, so you think vaccines?
If you'd asked me this question earlier on in the pandemic, I would have given you a science-based answer about how long the process of vaccine creation will take. Now I would give you a sociological answer. I would say that the question that most concerns me is not how long will it take a vaccine to arrive, but can a country that is doing so badly as we are right now at controlling COVID-19 roll out a vaccine in a way that is equitable, efficient, and I'm not sure I have faith in that process.
Yeah. I don't know if I have faith either, because too often everybody flubs the line. Government gets involved, then everybody gets their hands in there, and then the next thing you know, it ends up being a mess. Perfect example. Where I live, Pinal County, just outside Maricopa County. So Phoenix, Pinal, those two are the fastest growing counties in the last several years in America. This weekend, people are waiting hours in line here. It's a giant mess to get the test. I drive by, we have a drive-through testing place. I drive by it, not one person in line. Drive by it a little bit later, not a person in line. People waiting 20 minutes to get inside Bath and Body Works. Nobody's waiting to get tested. Nobody bothered to tell people, hey, you know what? Maybe we've got some other testing sites you guys can go to and do stuff. People are like, I can't find a testing site. I mean, if you looked online, you go look online. Well, there's several of them. Have you called some places? Well, I was. Darwin. The mask is anti-Darwin. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. It's your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Purple. Making sleep amazing. I love my Purple mattress. Had it a couple weeks. I sleep like you could not believe. My naps are incredible. They've used technology to make sleeping scientifically better. It's for everybody. What it does with their Purple Grid is the technology that's patented instantly adapts to your body's natural shape and sleep style. 2,800 open air channels, temperature neutral gel. What that means is you never sleep too hot or too cold. It's firm where it's supposed to be firm. Soft where it's supposed to be soft. 100-night trial. It's risk-free, free returns, free shipping. It's never going to lose shape. It's never going to sink. It's incredible. You'll sleep cool all over, and you'll sleep. That's what matters. Experience the next evolution of sleep. Go to purple.com/Benson. Use promo code Benson. Saves $150 on any Purple mattress over $1,500 or more. Purple.com/Benson. Promo code Benson. $150 off. Purple.com. Promo code Benson. Terms apply. Chad Benson Show.
If you're part of the politically exhausted majority, don't fear. Your time to be validated and rejuvenated is here. Wake up. It's the Chad Benson Show.
How do you feel about maybe Kanye West becoming president?
Well, I think what we've learned looking back is that the presidential job is best suited for someone with experience, and that is a pro in their field. And I think we have seen and learned from experience that when we don't have pros in position, that it can get a little wild.
It can get a little wild. That's Katy Perry. Kanye, baby. Kanye. Could he? No, he's not. I think at some point he may take a real run. I think that there's going to be a celebrity or two that will take a run at this. We need a professional. No, what you need is somebody who gets it, who can surround themselves with other people who also get it, who could build, semi-half-decent coalition of people. Do I think that's Kanye? No. I think it would be more chaos and craziness, but based on what we have now, would it be any worse? And at least, hey, his music's better.
I love Kanye. He is amazing. I just, I love him as an artist. And I think he's an incredible disruptor as an artist, and that's what I love the most about him.
Yeah. He's fun. But no, I'm going to pass on the presidency for him because it's not his gig. He's not ready for it yet. Not saying it couldn't happen. Not saying it couldn't happen, because I do believe he will earnestly run one day. I think he will sit down, and I think he will really take it serious if he doesn't go crazy and run one day. It's a big if. He's an artist. As we're seeing with Johnny Depp, many others out there, they're an eclectic bunch. It's one of the reasons that Reagan wasn't a great actor and artist, because he played Ronald Reagan on television and in the movies, and that's kind of what it was. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Speaking of stuff like movies and entertainment,
Tom Bergeron was always quick with a joke or turn of phrase as co-host of Dancing with the Stars.
So we go from the woman who has new screws to the people who have a few loose for their scores.
And after 15 years and 28 seasons, he's out, along with co-host Aaron Andrews. The show says it's going in a new creative direction. No word who will replace them. Dancing with the Stars scheduled to return this fall. Bergeron has been with the show since the beginning and says in a tweet that it's been an incredible run and the most unexpected gift of his career, finishing with, quote, "Now what am I supposed to do with all these glitter masks?"
Yeah, and the good news is he's out because they're going in a different direction. And why is that good news? Because it's not one of those things where he's out because they're firing him because he said something or tweeted something 14 years ago, or somebody heard something in passing as they passed by something that Tom Bergeron said something about somebody, and that's why they need to cancel. No, they're just trying to hip up the show. That's basically what it's all about. They're going to go a little hippier, a little cooler, because they don't want to see it fade away. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Still want to hear from you. Text the program. Tweet at us. A lot of you are still doing about what to do with schools. Would you send your kid if you're a teacher? Do you want to go? What are you apprehensive about? I want to hear from you. I want to hear all sides. Tweet at me, at Chad Benson Show. Text the program, 323-538-2423. Check out the Instagram and Chad Benson Show TV on the old YouTube. We'll have a video up there in a little bit. So check that out. Have a wonderful, amazing day. Be kind to each other. It's not that hard. We make it harder than it should be. We'll do this thing again tomorrow. And, of course, it's Tuesday, so there's only one thing you can do if you can find a place. Go eat a taco. Night-night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.